Hello and welcome to Faces of the Main Line. My guests today on Faces of the Main Line are Mary Beth Avioli, Molly Shawhan, and Phil Murray. You're part of a very unusual and exceptional program, the Villanova United Scholars Program. Does one of you want to tell me how it started? What was the initiative?
Sure. So it's the VUnited Scholars Program at Villanova. It started, it came about on Saturday mornings. There's a VUnited program for students with disabilities that Steve McWilliams began with students. So he did that for over 10 years, maybe 20 years they've been doing that. About, 5 years ago, I guess, a businessman from Rhode Island approached Steve. He had approached 7 different Catholic universities and asked them to start a program for students with disabilities. He had tried 7 different universities. The only one that said yes they would was Steve McWilliams. They had given him Steve's name, so they contacted Steve. Someone had gone to Father Peter, who also directed them to Steve. And Steve contacted me. I was still working at Villanova at the time, and asked if I would help with this program.
So your role there is you're an assistant director, is that correct?
Well, for this VUnited Scholars.
Yes, but what was your role at Villanova at the
Before
time?
I was Director of Web Services for UNIT, which is the University Information Technologies Department. And then I had switched to Student Life and worked with their IT for that.
Did you find a program challenging for yourself coming from for the environment you were working in?
It was challenging, but it was very interesting. Steve had explained it. He's the director of students with disabilities for Villanova. So these were students with intellectual disabilities, a little bit different. They weren't accepted into Villanova. They had to apply to the VUnited Scholars Program. So it was different.
The program it's a residence certificate program?
Yeah, the students earn a certificate under the College of Professional Studies. So Steve and I developed the program. He approached the College of Professional Studies to house the program and offer a 2-year certificate, with the intention that the students would have a college experience living on campus and take courses for this certificate. In addition, they can take the traditional Villanova courses one a semester.
Well, I'm very blessed to be a part of your program, and one of the things that I would say that your program does for students, it builds their level of confidence, and that's very obvious to me.
I think Molly and Philip can speak to that.
Well, yes, I'm going to include now.
Sorry. You put me on this side of the desk.
Well, there's a reason that I did that.
Okay.
Steve, tell me about yourself.
My name's not Steve.
Or Phil, I'm sorry.
Philip Murray. I'm from Rhode Island, and I'm a living advisor here at Villanova for the VUnited Scholars Program.
Do you have a background in whatever?
So I've been a special ed teacher about 10 years. I used to work with 3 to 5-year-olds, like the really tiny kids, in a public school out in Boston. And
you evolved into what you do now.
Now working with older kids.
And you also work in the program.
Yes, I do. I'm a living advisor.
Yes. And what does that person do?
So it pretty much helps the students like wake up, take their medicines, like talk about what their schedule is for the day, be on time for classes.
I will tell you, collectively, you're doing an incredible job.
Thank
because
you.
In interviewing the students, I devised the questions, and there are things that you, as a team, brought them to another level. Where when I, on and off the camera, there were things that they weren't doing until they were in your hands.
That's true, and that was our purpose was to give them a real college experience, be integrated into the college community, join organizations, clubs that traditional students would join. And it's happened with each one of them.
Yeah, they actually spoke on it. Now, you'll probably want to know why I saved Molly for last.
Sure.
Because she is probably part of one of Villanova's rivals. You went to where?
The University of Notre Dame. Go Irish.
That's the green.
How did you go to the University of Notre Dame?
I was fortunate enough to play lacrosse at Notre Dame. I grew up in a household where my dad went there and my mom went to St. Mary's across the street. So I was, if I didn't go there, I wouldn't be a member of the Sean family anymore either. So, no, it was my dream since I was a little kid and played lacrosse there.
Yeah, all the Notre Dame. I have a cousin who went to a Notre Dame, and all the Notre Damers seem to care about is the Marine Corps and John F. Kennedy and Notre Dame. That's all they care about. Is that true? Now your dad was in the Marine Corps.
And football.
We have a over one of the doors in the church. It says God, Country, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And those all fit under that mold. So
That's it.
that's
So
those
tell
are
me-
three loves.
I'm sorry. You're also an assistant director.
Yes, I help Mary Beth and Steve with.
And what is your role?
It's the best team I've ever worked for. We just really communicate really well and collaborate on making the classes and the courses and coming up with really unique ideas to make sure that they're having a full college experience and learning independence and having that time living in the dorms and everything as well.
What are like the benefits of the program that you see? I know I heard what Mary Beth said, and Phil said something incredible, that the kids get up on time and take their medication. But what are some of the other benefits of the program?
I think just having the opportunity in itself, to be able to. Part of why I'm so passionate about our program is I have an older brother who has disabilities, and so often, there's not really open doors for various opportunities. But to be able to have the full college experience and then some, our students participate in anything and everything on campus, and they do it with, you're saying, confidence, seeing their confidence grow and how they interact with other people. It's really remarkable. And I think another huge benefit is seeing them when they come in, nervous, scared, not wanting to leave their parents, not knowing how to live on their own, and then, being able to fully function and flourish independently is awesome to see as well.
When you see, I think Mary Beth said that all the colleges that were approached, I think it was 7 were approached, and Villanova was the only one. No, I'm not going to do that.
Notre Dame was one of them.
Yes,
No,
Notre Dame said no.
They said no.
I wasn't.
I love Villanova for it.
I wasn't
And the reason was Tom Murphy, who is one of the donor that began this. It's the Tom and Terry Foundation, Tom and Terry Murphy Foundation, saw that many public colleges throughout the country have this program, but there was not one Catholic university that had it. So his goal was to establish this in a Catholic university, and that's how it became. And then Philip's mother, who is Martha Murray, works for the foundation, and she approached Steve with Joe Adamek,
Yes.
to begin this. So they came and visited Steve and told them about their vision for this program and how we looked at Lesley University, which
Leslie.
up in
I actually
Boston.
went there.
It's the oldest
Yes,
program
the oldest program
in the country. About
For
30 years, over
students
30
with
years.
intellectual
30 years,
disabilities. So we looked there, we looked at Clemson, we looked at George Mason and a school in Florida as examples of what we wanted to accomplish, because our goal was also to have the students get gainful employment. So one day a week they do an internship.
The students.
Our students.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you, when you looked at what the other universities were doing, did you, were they role models for you?
Yes.
My words.
Yeah, they were role models because they had, some schools take these students and integrate them into their existing curriculum, but they're extensively tutored. They take maybe 1 or 2 courses a semester. They may or may not live on campus, and that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to emulate Clemson and Leslie and George Mason that enable the students to live on campus and truly experience college life with the goal of getting a great job, decent job when they finish. Something they would not have probably accomplished if they hadn't come and had the experience of the internships.
Well, I can comfortably tell you three that you are revered.
Oh,
That they really do. They really do like you
that's
a lot
nice.
because having
Bribery.
yeah, we paid them.
one of the advantages is once the camera goes off, I can say things that ask certain things that I might not want on the camera. So they really do like all three of you. They're very fond of what you do. How does one? I come to you, and how do I find out about the Scholars Program?
On Think College on the web, there's a listing of all types of opportunities for students with intellectual disabilities. Also, our program is highlighted under the College of Professional Studies as a certificate program. So either guidance counselors at different high schools find out about it. Who else? How else would we?
Yeah.
We started as a pilot, so we sent letters out to all the schools locally and really on the East Coast to the high school counselors to tell them we were starting this pilot program.
Well, all the kids that I interviewed, they all came. They all come from diversified parts of the country.
That's correct. Well,
The
East Coast.
East Coast.
Yeah.
So, what will you do in September? You have more kids coming in?
Yes.
Tomorrow's accepted Students Day, actually.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you have new kids coming in?
It's Accepted Students Day. So the students that were offered a position, can come if they haven't made their final decision yet, or if they have an experience on campus.
Students for this program?
Yes.
For September.
Will they be in your classroom?
Yes.
Okay.
For everyone, yes, that decides to enroll.
Do you get a lot of applicants for the
I think
program?
this year, the first year we maybe had 10.
The first year?
The first year.
What was the first year you had it?
2020? 21? 22? No, 2021. 2021. So we had about, say, 15 applicants, and we accepted 8, 5 came. The next year, we had probably 35 applications, and we accepted, 8 again, and 7 came. Then this year, we've had maybe 55 or 60 applications, and out of that, we interviewed 9, and we accepted 9.
Yes.
So 9 students will be coming this year.
Is it?
Well, I think 8.
Yeah, maybe 8.
One.
Once it's too far from home, I think.
Yeah.
Is it you three that do the interviews?
No,
I don't do the interviews.
No, it's Molly, Steve, Mary O'Connor, who was our special education advisor. Also the admissions people from College of Professional Studies. So Paul Ballantyne and Trish Ertwine. So we have either in-person interviews we go through the applications and we select who will be interviewed. So we actually selected 15 and then we narrowed it down to 9 to be interviewed, either in person or virtual.
What are, and this is a tough question, you don't have to answer it. What is a determining factor in
That's a good question.
why?
Well, first, there's a whole series of application procedures they have to follow. They have to complete the application. They have to give 3 recommendations. Their parents have to fill a survey. The student has to fill a survey. They have to give test results. I think there's 3 different tests that they've had to have taken during school that they get, we get evaluated on that. We look through the whole application before we decide if a student is eligible or not.
They're pretty well vetted.
Recommendation.
Oh, they have to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be first because they have to be able to do the seminars that we've created. They have to live away on their own. They have to want to do this, and they have to be interested in finding a career, or and be able to live with these other students.
Do you find that a lot of the family environments that the students come from, it could be stressful? You referenced having a brother of special needs. Do you find that sometimes that, and I can only speak on the fact that I've listened to the students in the class. Do sometimes their family situations are stressful, and this makes it, this environment that you provide makes it easier for them to interact in their family, or am I just totally off?
I think I would answer your question in two parts. I think I am one of the luckiest people in the world for having grown up with an older brother who is nonverbal and uses a wheelchair, because I think the amount of joy that he still provides to our family, and just I think like the overall perspective that you have on life is unmatched, and I wouldn't change that for the world. I think there is, so I think that side of it's unbelievable. I mean, it's hard, right? You have to plan trips differently. There's things you can and can't do, because of things take longer. I think one thing that I would say that we provide an answer to is a lot of families, and even we're experiencing this as my parents are getting older, and are the primary caregivers for my brother. They're getting to the point where it's getting harder for them to carry him upstairs and different things, and the question becomes as the caregivers age, what will happen to my son or daughter? And I think being able to provide the supports for that son or daughter to hopefully be able to live independently, or live in a home with supports to help answer some of those questions is what I think a lot of families are looking for. So I think it's hard at times, yes, but there is a beauty to having a family member with disabilities as well.
One of the things I noticed about observing you three is that you were, I didn't know how to act when I first became a volunteer. All right, I know what you're going to say.
No, that's very typical.
I didn't know how to act. And I watched you three, and I saw that you were kind of like no nonsense. That you
have to be.
That it was like you were not. I thought, well, you got to give this kid a break, But no, they were like regular. They're just like a regular kid on campus, and I think that's terrific.
Well, we have,
and I think they benefit by that.
Well, there's expectations for the students. You have to treat them as you would any other student. Why should you give them a break? Because all of them have a strength, and that's what we're trying to develop. Each student, the transformation from the time they arrive to now is unbelievable.
It's amazing.
And I think we've been able to identify their strengths and play to that, as opposed to their weaknesses, or all of them come with a dream, and we try to develop that dream. We ask, where do you want to work? What is your goal? And some of them are outrageous. You've interviewed Allie. During her interview, Allie said, I want to be a varsity cheerleader at Villanova. And of course, during the interview, was thinking, I don't know if that would ever happen. So we got her a manager position with the squad. The coach started watching her ability, and within a week, she was on the team. She went, to try I think she missed the tryouts, but she went to the camp in the summer and was manager. After the first game, she started cheering for the football team, basketball team. She can flip better than any of the girls on the team. She can do somersaults. She does a split that is unbelievable. She knew that's what she wanted, and that was our goal, to get her to what she wanted. So I think that kind of defines what our program tries to strive for.
Do you find the program challenging yourself?
Depends what day and what hour.
To work for?
Or as a student?
Because you never really know. You don't have the typical classroom control that a public or a Catholic school teacher would have. That you have this expectation of certain control. I mean, sometimes it's somebody will just spontaneously say something, and it just the conversation goes in a whole different direction. Are we almost done yet? When are you going to do the question number 2? And I think that's like, do you find that to be a challenge?
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, that's what makes it challenging. But it's also, every day is different, and you never know what, especially being a living advisor.
Right.
He's seeing things, and Molly also is a living advisor, where each evening you have no idea what might happen that night, but you roll with the punch. I have to say we're all flexible. We're not like rigid that everybody has to adhere to a certain behavior, because that's never going to happen.
Do you have to be on call all the time?
Yeah.
They take turns.
We take turns, once every other day. Like someone else is on duty, but pretty much I feel like we're always on duty, because like the kids love us so much, and sometimes they just want to call just to say hi, or if they're having a problem with their roommate, they just call me or Molly, or they're just really amazing kids. And
Do you when one of them said to me today that I was his best friend.
Oh, aren't you lucky?
He said, I'm going to be getting spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh.
So he got all my information down.
Nice.
So I'm expecting a lot of food.
Well, so
coming
what's
my-
been wonderful that we have students that live close by, and then some that are out of state. The local families have had the students over. So that student, Dan Custer, his mom invited everyone over to teach them how to make meatballs, had a lasagna dinner, spaghetti, and vegetables. So she taught the students how to make meatballs at her home. And another family had everyone over there for a barbecue on Labor Day. Another family took all the students bowling. Another one had a picnic to watch the Eagles. I mean, it's been tremendous, a tremendous community.
Salsa making.
Salsa making, that's right. One student, Aiden, has his own salsa business, Aiden's Salsa, and his mom had everyone go to their home and learn to make salsa. So in addition to their college life, they've created a community of VUnited Scholars students that have learned and had these tremendous experiences.
Does the can I ask you about the cost?
Of the school? I mean, of the program?
Yeah.
Sure. This year, I think it's $27,500 for tuition, and then room and board is about $11,500.
I notice they all have a laptop. Is that part of the program? They
They have to bring it.
they have to bring it? Okay.
Villanova used to provide laptops for their students, but they no longer do that. Everybody has to bring their own.
I don't know that any college does that.
Yeah, Villanova
Provides.
used to.
They used to. I'm really impressed that they could do PowerPoint presentations, which I can't do.
I can't do PowerPoint presentations either.
I was impressed that from the time I started, I guess in September, and then I saw how they were in December when there was the event at the Villanova Conference Center, and just now I could see how they've evolved. I mean, you three should be really proud.
Well, it's not only us.
What
we
you
have
did.
Steve McWilliams is huge.
You can say his name in front of me.
I am. we hand-selected the faculty to teach the courses because we know that they would be very strong with this type of student. Some of them never taught students with special needs. So it was a challenge, but their course development and the way they interact with these students is unbelievable. So I would say it's been a whole team effort in the transformation of these students.
One of the people I think that we should give a shout out to, whose name is referenced frequently, is Father Allen.
Well, I was going to say, Father Allen is an Augustinian priest who I had asked to teach theology, and he was very hesitant because he normally taught the most brilliant Villanova students. He himself speaks 5 languages.
Right.
He's
I watched him
written
flip
probably
languages. It's embarrassing.
he's written probably 10 books about. He's a St. Augustine scholar, so he's written books about St. Augustine. He's world renowned. He's been invited to speak at conferences, and I thought he'd be a great teacher for these students. The first few weeks he was nervous, but he developed a curriculum and the students adore him. Mm-hmm. They all speak with him. He has a round table type class where everybody can speak about whatever topic they're talking about. And I think they all just love him. And he's done a tremendous job.
And it was through your initiative that you got him?
Well, he's a good friend of mine. So.
Oh, so you had an inside.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Most of our faculty that we recruited were friends of one of us, and we knew that they were strong in that topic, and they wanted to get involved.
Would you like to see this program somewhere else? Aside from there, I know where you're going to go.
Would I?
I think it's brilliant. I think any college, there's over 5,000 colleges and only 300 of them have a program, a little over 300, and I think that number needs to keep growing to give more opportunities for people with disabilities. I think people forget that disability is the largest minority, and it's a minority that could affect anyone at any given point in time. We could get in an accident driving home and be in a wheelchair for the rest of our lives. So I think emphasizing and providing spaces for inclusion to be highlighted, to have an open door for people is something that any school should be invested in, I think.
Is it your initiative personally to get it in? Because I know Mary Beth will be at Villanova, but I think that you and Phil may want to try to get this somewhere. Would you like to take it to another college if you thought you could be the Steve McWilliams in another school?
I could not be Steve McWilliams anywhere. I know that much. But I know where you're going. Before I met Martha Murray, Philip's mother, who is the foundation director that helped fund. I met her in 2 years before Villanova started a program in attempts to also help Notre Dame start a program, right? So it's probably year 8 that I've been approaching Notre Dame about starting a program, and Phil and Tom and Terry, the foundation, went to Notre Dame before I, even went. I think it would be great there, but I think Villanova has a way of doing inclusion that is just exceptional. I don't know. I'd love to see it at other places, but I'm extremely happy with where it is here.
Mm. Yeah, I can't see why a school like Notre Dame wouldn't want it, or Loyola wouldn't want it.
Right.
Well, I think you have to have, first the College of Professional Studies was willing to take it under their wing to offer their certificate. So I think you have to have a group of people that will work towards this common initiative. And Steve can create miracles.
You need
So
Steve,
you need a Steve who has the vision and the drive and the desire to make it happen. And Philip's mom, Martha, is visiting many schools to try and get it started at different Catholic universities. So far we're the only one.
Catholic University in Washington would. I would think.
Yeah. I think it'd be good. I would say I think it why it
works better at Villanova is it's slightly smaller than Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And the, like I was saying, the inclusion that was already prevalent, like the work that Steve had been doing for years leading up to this on campus, even before the program started, when I came out and visited, I was like, oh my goodness. Their emphasis on Special Olympics, the number of students with physical disabilities, and the accommodations that they've made as a university as a whole, I think was just prime for a program. But yeah, I mean, Georgetown, BC,
Boston College too,
yeah. There's so many.
I think Tom Murphy's tried Providence because that's his alma mater.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
And they went to Boston College. There were 7, I think, and maybe more now. But Gwinnett has a program, but it's totally different. I think LaSalle has a program.
Okay.
Duquesne.
None are residential.
None are residential. The students can take, and I think they only take 2 or 3 students, if that many, but they're in regular courses, and then they're highly tutored, and that's not what our vision was.
Yeah, but I think that one of the things that I find when I tell people about the program, and then I say, and it's a residence, it changes the whole.
Right.
It goes in a different direction, you know.
And the other part is the internship.
Yes.
Like we've really we've tried very hard to get internships at good places that could potentially lead to a future job.
Yeah, again, in talking to the students, that when they talk about their internships, it's the student that I interviewed today works at Philadelphia Country Club.
Right.
You can't find anything more prestigious around here than that.
Right.
You know.
So we have one student at the Phillies. We have done one at the Camden Aquarium, the education center there. One at the Blue Rocks. One at Assumption Academy, right up the street. She's an aide for the preschool students. One at the fitness center down in Radnor. She wants to be a physical trainer or work with a physical trainer. So we've had quite a few great opportunities for these students. If they tell us they have an interest, then we pursue it.
Yeah.
One worked at Haverford College's Arboretum. One is in the mailroom at Villanova. One worked with the football team. One worked with the swimming team. Many, many options.
Yeah. Well,
So,
ran out of time. Any final words? Anybody?
No.
well, thank you for
Thank you.
coming and
Yes.
offering your assistance. And can I just talk about that real quick?
Sure.
So Steve's vision was to invite retired or still working professionals who were successful in their careers to come work as career mentors for the students and talk about their careers, work with their students to learn to help study for tests or the PowerPoints you were talking about. And you have graciously accepted and come.
Thank you.
And we have 6 or 7 others that come and work with the students individually and as a team. So it's been Steve's idea, great idea, and it's highly successful,
And he actually brought me in.
shockingly.
Shockingly. With Molly, Phil, and Mary Beth, this is John Ricciuti from MainlineTV.org. And until next time with Faces of the Main Line, I hope you found the show educational, informative, and at times, Mary Beth, entertaining.
Great.
Have a nice day and until next time. And thank you to my producer, Kevin, for all his hard work.
And Kevin also was a internship supervisor for Allie Griffin and was highly successful, taught her video production right here in this location.
And there you have it.